Good morning, friends. Today I will discuss nanostructured metal oxide semiconductors. So I start with nanostructured materials. What are nanostructured materials? Nanomaterials are those materials with at least one of its dimension in the range of nanometer, 1 to 100 nanometer. Materials that have unique properties due to nanoscale structuring is known as nanostructured materials. Materials that are nanoscale in one dimension are called as thin films. Materials that are nanoscale in two dimensions are nanowires. Materials that are nanoscales in all the three dimensions are quantum dots. There are basically two approaches for the synthesis of nanostructured materials. First one is the top down and another one is the bottom up. So why we require nanostructured materials? Nanomaterials are of interest because of new properties they exhibit as compared with larger particles of the same materials. Nanoparticles can be arranged into layers on the surfaces, providing a larger surface area and hence enhanced activity relevant to a range of potential applications such as catalysts and sensors. These are some examples of nanostructured materials. Bulk iron. Iron is a magnetic material, but it loses magnetism when its size becomes small. Why properties of nanostructured materials are different? There are two reasons behind this. There are two factors. First one is the surface area increases as the size of particles decreases. Nanomaterials possess larger surface area than their bulk counterparts. Another one is the quantum confinement effect. So how surface to volume ratio increases? This is clear from this example. Suppose we have considered a surface of radius r, then its surface area is 4 pi r square and its surface to volume ratio is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So its surface to volume ratio is 3 by r. So as the value of r decreases, that means the size of nanoscale materials decreases, then its surface to volume ratio increases. This is also clear from this example. If we consider a cube having side 4 cm, then its surface area will 96 cm square. And if we cut the cube into two parts having side 2 cm, then the surface area of one cube will be 24 cm square and the total surface area will 192 cm square. So surface area increases as the size of nanostructured materials decreases. What is the nanoscience? Nanoscience is the study and understanding of the properties of nanostructured materials. Nanotechnology can be defined as the design, characterization, production, and application of structured devices and systems by controlling shape and size at nanometer scale. There are two basic approaches of the synthesis of nanostructured materials. bottom up approach and top down approach. When we have particles smaller than the nanometric particles, then we use bottom up approach for the synthesis of nanomaterial, and if we have particles larger than the nanoscale particles, then we use the top down approach to synthesize the nanostructural materials. These are the physical properties of nanostructural materials. Crystal structure of nanoparticles is same as bulk structure with different lattice parameters. Lattice parameters will change due to nanoscale structuring. Interatomic spacing also decreases with the size. Melting and boiling points of materials will changes with size. Now, as we have discussed earlier, that surface to volume ratio increases as size of particle decreases. So, the surface to volume ratio, increased surface to volume ratio, is also useful in many devices. How the magnetic properties varies. The magnetic moment of nanoparticles is also found to vary with the size. Magnetic properties will also change with the size. For example, iron, which lose the magnetism when the size of iron decreases. These are the synthesis methods of nanostructured materials, basically divided into two parts: chemical methods and physical methods. These are the chemical methods and these are the physical methods. And I will discuss the Sol-Gel method of the synthesis of nanostructured materials, because Sol-Gel method is very simple method to synthesize the nanostructured materials. Also, it is very cheap method. Here I am quoting the synthesis of cobalt ferrite using Sol-Gel synthesis method. It is very simple to synthesize. Here is another example of the synthesis of zinc stannate. This is the flow chart of the synthesis of zinc stannate, how we synthesize the zinc stannate. And after the synthesis of the nanostructured materials, we have to identify them, we have to characterize the materials. These are the characterization techniques, different characterization techniques used for the characterization of materials. For example, scanning electron microscope is used for the surface morphological investigations. EDX is used for the elemental analysis. X-ray diffraction is used for the structural analysis, also for the determination of the slit size. FTIR is used for the assign the certain functional groups, identify the metal oxygen bonding. DSC is used for the thermal analysis. UV visible is used for the optical absorption analysis and also for the calculation of the band gap. So here these are the same images of the zinc stannate. These show hierarchical structured surface morphology. This is the diffraction pattern. How we distinguish between a crystalline material and amorphous material? First pattern is of the crystalline materials, a sharp peak, and below is the example of amorphous material. very broad peak was observed for amorphous solid. So these are the informations which is obtained from XORD data. Material is crystalline or amorphous. Phase identification, calculation of the crystallite size, lattice parameters, strain analysis, and these are the informations which we will obtain from the X-ray diffraction pattern. This is the X-ray diffraction pattern of cobalt ferrite, and this is a crystalline material. Now there are various applications of nanostructured materials. Nanostructured materials are used in chemical industries, are used in automotive industry. Nanostructured materials are used as a medicine. Nanostructured materials are used in electronic industries, for data memory, for displaying, for laser diodes, for gas fibers and conductive coatings. Nanostructured materials are also used for energy sources such as fuel cells, solar cells, batteries, capacitors. Nanomaterials are also used for cosmetics, sun protection creams, toothpaste. Now, what is a sensor? This is the basic. This is the one of most important applications of nanostructured material. That is the application of nanostructured materials in sensing. So what is a gas sensor? Gas sensor is a device that receives a chemical stimulus and converts it into a electrical signal. So nanostructured materials are being used in sensing of various gases such as LPG, ammonia, nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, and many others. Here I will discuss the sensing applications of nanostructured materials for liquefied petroleum gas. So question arises, why we sense liquefied petroleum gas? All of you know that LPG is a flammable gas which presents many hazards to both the human as well as environment. So its detection is very important in its earlier stage of leakage. This is the sensing setup. Now these are the sensing parameters which characterize the suitability of the sensor towards its commercialization. A good sensor, a potential sensor, should possess high sensitivity, high sensor response, and should be stable with time. A sensor possesses least values of response and recovery times. So these are the sensing parameters which govern the behavior of the sensor. So for sensing, we have chosen the metal oxides. So what is the reason behind this? Metal oxides shows very good surface reactivity and they have temperature dependent surface morphology. They have good chemical and thermal stability. Therefore, the metal oxides are challenging material for the development of sensors. So I have investigated several metal oxides for their applications as LPG sensor. Here I will discuss few materials. This is the surface morphology of ferric oxide, which shows nanonails structured surface morphology and corresponding sensor response is given below. Similarly, for copper ferrite nanorods, and some other materials, I have investigated the sensing response. Thank you.